Hi, Stampers. It's Lisa. Welcome. I'm a little scattered today. As you can tell, I've missed the whole countdown and everything. But we're here, and we are here to create a beautiful card. I think you're going to like it. I had seen another card like this on Pinterest, but hers required like a 6x6 envelope. And I mean, that's a great use of those deckled dies, but I just don't have 6x6 envelopes laying around all the time. So I decided to recreate it, making it shrink down and fit into our standard envelopes. So let's go and take a look. I apologize for the lighting today. That was part of what took me a while. I was trying to get my lights to be effective, and they're not. So I've looked into some. They want like $189 for one light, and people are telling me I need like 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to have to sell a whole lot of Stampin' Up! To afford those lights. So in the meantime, we're stuck with a little bit of shadow, but we're going to be using the Beary Cute stamp set for the inside. Outside, we're just using the DSP. Now, we could have stamped our own scene in there, but my arm's giving me some trouble today, so I decided I'd make today's card a quick one. And we're just stamping on the inside, and then I'm showing you the envelope so you can see that it does definitely fit inside the envelope. So hopefully you will like this. So like I said, obviously I have an envelope, and then I have a little strip of DSP. It needs to be about 6 by 2 1/4 roughly. This was just what I had left over. And then you'll need a piece of cardstock. I have Night of Navy here, and this one is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at the 4 1/4. And then I had a 4 by 4 piece of Misty Moonlight, and then about that size for the white. And then I also have a piece of acetate that was a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, but these circles are already die cut. And then I have a piece of the Designer Series paper. And I just chose an area where I thought I could lay my circle down and get a cute little scene. So that's what we're going to do there. And then we're going to use these for the base. These are 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. Yeah, the card is made shiny using the layer of the window sheet. I mean, it can be done without it. It just looks more like a snow globe with the shiny on there. So let's do our stamping really quick so I can get this stamp set put out of the way. Oh, I already have it out. Okay, so I'm using the Snowflake and the Merry Christmas, and I did that in Misty Moonlight. So is everybody ready for Christmas? I'm dropping off some stuff this afternoon for the last weekend of a craft show I'm doing. It's one of those where I drop this stuff off and she sells it and takes a cut. And she does it 3 weekends in a row. And then we get to restock in between. So I'm going out there with some goodies that I've made that hold Hershey Kisses and chocolate bars, and the Ho 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 box that has the Ferrero Rochers in it. I have lots of very cute ideas on my blog. All the instructions are on there for those. And then I've got a tutorial that's got some more goodies with measurements and diagrams and all that good stuff. A few more gift cards. Have you seen the gift card holders? I've got several that I've made all over my blog. Definitely want to dress those up in something Stampin' Up, right? Okay, I'm going to bring in I need to have the bigger one because we're 4 inches wide and the little one only does 3. So I apologize that this is kind of big. But we're going to die cut, like I said, right out of the Designer Series paper. I'm just kind of figuring where I think I want that. And then for the other piece, remember how I said this was 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at the 4 1/4. So I'm going to put the seam, like our folded part is up here. And then when I take the die, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it hover kind of right over the edge so it's not completely touching. So there's going to be a little section that's not going to cut. And that's what's going to allow it to open. And I'm using the Deckled Circles dies. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm using 7, 8, and 9 for my card, going from the inside to the outside. So these are the various sizes I've used. And then here is our opening part of our card. And then I wanted to do a base, and you can do many things. Like I think the one where we had the dies where it cut that, there was kind of a half circle or a half oval that came from the sides. I decided to just go ahead and just angle up. And I didn't even really measure anything technically. I just kind of took and laid it in the trimmer. And let's see, just kind of whacked it. So I had a little bit of an angle. And I know you're getting panicked. I put the trimmer away and I haven't cut the other side. But that's because what I did was I took these two and I just flipped it, because I didn't trust myself to like measure over and then get the same angle exactly. So by doing this, I'm mirroring what I did, and then it's going to be exact. So there's my two pieces. And so that's what's going to go on the bottom. And then you can do the same thing if you wanted to give this a little bit of a rounded edge. You can do it with scissors. You can do it with one of the punches. If you have a corner rounder, you can do that. But again, if I got the one side, then I could flip it over and then look from this side and kind of just follow and get the same angle. Then on the front, I wanted to give it a little detail, and it looks better in person. You can't really see much of it on camera, but I gave it a few little grooves. Let's see if I can get the light on it. By laying it in the trimmer and just using my score blade. Just to give it some added depth. It's not necessary. I just thought it looked kind of plain all by itself. And then I still thought it looked a little plain. So I brought in some ink. And then just kind of antiqued it up a little bit. If that makes any sense. And you could do this with sponge daubers or just sponges. But like I said, I just thought it was a little kind of boring. And I could have used DSP. There's a couple DSPs we have right now in our holiday catalog that have kind of a wood look to them. I think I would have to back it on cardstock because I don't think they're strong enough, you know, or sturdy enough to really be the base of the card. So I didn't worry about the back one. I just did the front. And then I needed to figure out like how far up I could go with this. And what I did was I kind of laid it on my grid paper and I said, okay, I know it can go up to 5.5 and it has to stay within 4.25. So I laid this down. Open. And like I said, I'm keeping that score line at about the 5.5, maybe down a little bit. And then I'm going to use the one that goes inside and I'm going to set it right there. So now I want the adhesive just on the top there. And then I can take that piece we stamped onto and mount that inside. Then for the outside one, I'm going to just align it with the inside because we want those to match once the card is closed. And then we're just doing that. So that's how we have our shape of our snow globe. So now all we need to do is decorate it. So that's where I'm going to bring in our Misty Moonlight layer. And then our designer series paper. Again, this could be a stamped scene, anything you wanted to create. And then I wanted the little bow up here, and I needed a way to put on the acetate without it looking, glued, because we know that it's clear and there aren't really many adhesives that we could put on there that wouldn't show. So what I decided to do was to just line it up. And then I used our 1/8 inch circle punch. And we talked about this before. If you don't have this one, it creates a hole the same size as the take your pick tool if you were just to punch through with the pointy end. So if you don't have this, you can poke it through with that. That's exactly the size that is. When I shifted. Okay, let's see. Let me get this one more time. Being clear and being on camera, I totally misaligned that. There we go. Okay, so now that I have that on there, I'm going to take a piece of our ribbon, and this is our metallic in the in colors. And I just need to feed it through the holes. So to keep it from unraveling, I did use a small lighter and I melted the ends. This one doesn't melt very well because of the metallic. It kind of caught fire. So you may want to maybe stick it in a little bit of wax. Just something that would kind of hold it together long enough for you to feed it through the holes and not come all undone. Because this does fray really easily, this ribbon does. And sometimes that's the look you want. I mean, I've taken it several times and like pulled it apart on purpose because it gives it kind of a tinsel look. But in this case, that's not what I was going for. Come on. Just need it through the hole. I had it. So you can see what I mean about it coming undone. It looks kind of like fishnet. And I promise you that goes much smoother when you're not on camera. Once I had it through, I kind of tied a knot so that I could mess with the bow and not worry about it coming undone. Now, oftentimes if I'm trying to make a knot, I don't want it to loosen. One of the things I'll do is take a pair of reverse tweezers and I pull this part taut, and then I set the tweezers in here and let that hold that knot, or the first part, so that then I can tie the second one and the bottom one doesn't shift. And I kind of want it to, pull to the sides, because I don't want my bow to be the wrong direction. I want it to go side to side, not up and down. It can go. And so then you just kind of play around with the bow and the tails and trim it up till it fits. Then in order to do the envelope, yes, thank you, Vicki, for putting in hashtag prize patrol. That is how you get entered into the drawing to win today's card. Somebody will be getting this in the mail. The computer is behind the scenes collecting everybody's name. I just went ahead and added some adhesive, and I used seal. You could also use liquid glue, especially if you wanted to make sure it went all the way around the edge. And then I'm just aligning this with that edge. Because I want this to be flush with the top. Come on. And then once it's flush, then I'm just going to come back here and trim from this side. And there we go. Then we have our card and envelope. So there you go. We did a Christmas scene this time. Oh, I know one thing I didn't. Now, it doesn't matter. It's not sticking over much, but on the first card, I did trim off that little bit of acetate that hung over. It's not necessary, but you can if you want. Ginger says this would be great for birthdays. I would love to see that. That'd be cute. Yeah, the grid paper comes in handy for lots of things. It's amazing how much you can use with that for. I use it for finding the middle of things. I find it for measuring up here to find the middle, measuring how long the ribbon is, the card, my layers. The grid paper is awesome. And it catches all of the ink and glue that, I don't want all over my glass mat. This is the beautiful glass mat that new demos will be able to earn. as part of their kit. It's a free add-on for people who join in January. Because in January, we're getting a new catalog. The new mini catalog will come out, and we will start Celebration, which is the biggest sale of the year. That's when Stampin' Up! Blows out all the stops, and you get free gifts for every $50 that you spend, and there's extra awards for hosting, for buying, for joining, for demos, just being a demo. There's lots of great stuff. And so you want to stay tuned for that. If you are a lover of designer series paper, but you don't want to have to buy all of it, then you want to check out my product shares. I'm buying full packs of all the designer series paper and the ribbons, and I'm making shares, which means you would get a 6x6 piece of paper of everything in the catalog, or you can get my swatch books, which is a little 3x6, and they're in a little stapled together thing by packet. So if I have a pack of designer series paper, you get a 3x6 of each one, and then there's a label on the back that tells you the name of it, the colors that are in it, all that stuff. They're very handy for having when you're doing classes, which are why mine are over there unreachable, because I use them in class. And we're also doing a online retreat that's coming up January 28th. That is going to be using the new hot air balloons stamp sets and dies. So lots of fun stuff to check out over on my blog. Hopefully you are following me on Facebook and you're part of my newsletter list, all those good things, because that's where I share all that information. So thank you to everyone who joined and for playing along. We will be back on Monday at 2:30 for another one. But in the meantime, let's spin and see who today's winner is. And then that winner is going to go to my website, and there we go, Loretta, congratulations. You go to my website, queenbeecreations.net, and in the address bar, you're going to add /prize patrol. That's going to take you to a Google form where you will give me the address on where you would like that card mailed to. So thank you, everyone, and I will see you back here on Monday. And again, congratulations to Loretta. Thanks. Bye.